This is the best 150 euros I spent on tech this year. Let me explain. You know that this is a DJI Osmo Mobile gimbal. Let me explain to you why this is possibly the best piece of kit for the money that I've bought in years. I am a beginner YouTuber. I have about 260 subscribers. If you'd like to add to that, I'd much appreciate it. You know the drill. Because I don't have an income of YouTube coming in, I have to be really careful about what I purchase in order to increase the production value of my videos. And I want to pay as little as possible. In front of me here, you see that most of the things that I buy are fairly inexpensive. So when I go out skiing, I use an action camera. It's getting a bit old in the tooth, but it still gives me good footage. I started out with a Hero 1, okay? I actually started out with a Sony A33 camera. Bought it for photography, started using it for video. Last year, I went and purchased this. This is a Sony A6500, and it's absolutely amazing. All the footage I have shot over the past year with this thing, slow it down, absolutely amazing. That's probably the most expensive thing that I've purchased. When I look at the footage, I go, wow, it's worth it. Next to that camera, this iPhone 7 is probably the most expensive thing that I have on the table. And until recently, it never got used, okay? I took photos with it, I did like lots of other things, and actually at the moment, I'm actually doing a remote view of the camera so I can see what it sees. This amazing camera on here was never getting used because all the footage that I tried was, I'm going to say, shaky as is that I have a tremor in my hand, okay? I'm not going to say the reason for the tremor, I don't think it's very bad, but suffice to say, usually at the most inopportune moments, my hand will shake ever so slightly. Everybody comments about it when they see it. Whether I play cards and I'm trying to bluff, my hand shakes. If I'm dehydrated, if I have too much caffeine, the list goes on, I have a handshake. So if I ever try and film with this, like this, it picks up the tiny little shakes that I might have. I just need to add that, which is where this thing comes in. This turns the footage that I get from that, which is all shaky, into something that is actually really watchable. Okay, so for the first test, we're walking up a semi-steep, rough path. This is the iPhone 7 selfie camera in the Osmo. This is the equivalent on a Tomtom BANDIT. I will even show you halfway through while I'm image stabilizing this in Final Cut Pro. Thirdly, this is an iPhone 7 on a standard pole. And again, halfway through this, I'm going to do some stabilization in Final Cut Pro. But again, I'm not exaggerating this, and I can already see it in the screen. Excuse me for being out of breath. Anyway, we're further along the path. It's flattened out a little, and we're now going to test the gimbal on the front, the forward-facing camera, which I believe on the iPhone 7 is optically stabilized. And of course you can see quite clearly how rough this path is. I am of course trying to tread the least rocky path. So here we have iPhone 7 without the gimbal, solely relying on the in-camera stabilization. So test number 3, we're now up at a golf course halfway up the mountain. We're going to do some panning shots. And finally, I was going to say running, but I don't run. A light jog down a road. Yep, this is me jogging. Same thing, this time with the Tomtom. Final test, walking down quite a steep slope. And I'm spending most of my time looking at my feet so that I don't fall over. So looking at that footage there, I think it's pretty conclusive that this thing does its job absolutely amazingly. Okay? Now, before I bought this, I went and, as any person does, they went out and looked at reviews that other people had done when it first came out. And the primary thing that everybody came up and said was that the DJI app that you can load on your phone and it gives you a bit more functionality with this was crap. And I have to say, it worried me. And when I purchased it, the first thing I did was go into the app and play around and see what it did. And it appears that, in essence, the Android version of the DJI app is crap. And it rhymes. The iPhone version that I've had, and I've used it for 6 months, it's crashed about once or twice. It's crashed so little that I wouldn't say it crashes, okay? Do you need it? No, of course you don't. You can shoot using the inbuilt camera programs that are in these phones. There are a few things that it gives a benefit to. The possible weakest link that I thought about this gimbal, the app, no, it's passable, okay? It works. There was a couple of things I'd like to change, sure, with anything, but trust me, it's not. I cannot, to summarize, say for the amount this is worth, 150 euros, you can actually get them refurbished for less than that. But in essence, for me, this is 2 tanks of petrol. This is 2 large shops down at the supermarket. This is, you know, you can look at 150 euros and go, oh my God, that's expensive. For what it is, it's amazing, okay? And I think its competition are to a couple of brands that I've never heard of. Everyone's heard now of DJI. They make the best drones, which have got the best gimbals on them, okay? Here you go. If you have an iPhone, if you have an iPhone 6S upwards, no, even a 6 upwards, this will make the footage look absolutely amazing, okay? And that's why I'm going to leave it. If you want to make your footage better and you don't want to spend a ton of money, one of these, seriously. And as always, if you'd enjoyed this review, if you completely disagree with me, let me know down below. Otherwise, drop me a like, give me a sub, help me grow, help me get monetized, help me afford a Ronin S. No. And on that, ciao.